Ever had a gut feeling that was just dead wrong? Or maybe brilliantly right? Well, today, we're diving into one of the biggest ideas in psychology, a revolutionary look at the two systems secretly running your mind, all thanks to the groundbreaking work of Daniel Kahneman. All right, let's get into it. But first, before we get into the heavy stuff, we're going to run a little test on your brain. It's a super simple puzzle. Seriously, don't overthink it. Just go with the very first answer that pops into your head. You ready?
Okay, here it is. A bat and a ball cost $1.10 total. The bat costs exactly $1 more than the ball. So, how much does the ball cost? Got an answer? Lock it in.
So, did you think 10 cents? If you did, don't worry, you are in very good company. That's the intuitive, automatic, and incredibly tempting answer that your brain serves up almost instantly. But it's wrong.
The right answer is actually 5 cents. Let's just do the math real quick. If the ball is 5 cents, then the bat, which is $1 more, is $1.05. Add them together, and what do you get? $1.10. Now, this isn't just a trick question. It perfectly shows what on earth just happened inside your head. Did your brain just fail you? No, not at all. That little glitch you might have just felt is a perfect window into the two completely different ways your mind is working all the time. This is where Kahneman's big idea comes in. He describes our minds as being run by two characters, almost like two agents with totally different personalities. He calls them System 1 and System 2.
So System 1 is the impulsive hero of our story. It's fast, automatic, intuitive. It's the part of your brain that just screamed 10 cents without breaking a sweat. And then there's System 2. Think of it as the lazy but brilliant sidekick. It's slow, deliberate, and analytical. It is totally capable of solving the puzzle, but man, it would really rather not.
And here's how they work together, or, well, don't. System 1 is running the show 24/7. It's constantly firing off suggestions, impressions, gut feelings, quick answers like 10 cents. And our lazy System 2, whose job is to be the fact checker, usually just shrugs and says, yeah, that sounds about right, because actually thinking things through takes real physical effort. So how does System 1 pull off these lightning-fast judgments? Well, it uses mental shortcuts, what psychologists call heuristics. They're basically simple rules of thumb that work most of the time, but they can also lead us into these really predictable errors or biases. Want to see another one in action?
Okay, I'm going to paint a picture of a guy named Steve. Just listen to this description and get a feel for the guy. Shy, withdrawn, helpful, tidy, needs order, loves detail. You got a picture of Steve in your head?
All right, based on that description, what's your gut tell you? Is Steve more likely to be a librarian or a farmer? Be honest. Your System 1 is probably yelling, librarian, right? I mean, it fits the stereotype to a T. But your System 1 is ignoring a crucial piece of information.
And here's why that gut feeling is probably wrong. It all comes down to a simple numbers game. In the United States, there are over 20 times more male farmers than male librarians. Think about that. That statistical fact, what's called the base rate, is something our fast, intuitive System 1 is completely blind to.
This is a classic example of what's called the representativeness heuristic. We make a judgment based on how much something resembles a stereotype while completely ignoring the underlying stats. System 1 saw a description that looked like its idea of a librarian and just leaped. And our lazy System 2, it never even bothered to ask the logical question, wait a minute, how many of each are there, really? You can see how this plays out everywhere, from first impressions to job interviews.
Now, these mental shortcuts don't just trip us up on puzzles. They fundamentally shape how we feel about risk, about money, about our biggest decisions. And that brings us to one of the most powerful biases of all.
This right here is the core idea of Kahneman's Nobel-winning work. It's a simple phrase, but it's incredibly profound. From a psychological point of view, the pain of a loss is way more powerful than the pleasure you get from an equivalent gain.
And how much larger are we talking? Well, on average, the emotional sting from losing $100 is about twice as intense as the joy of finding $100. Our brains are fundamentally hardwired to be loss-averse.
And this leads to some pretty weird behavior. It means when we're choosing between potential gains, we tend to play it safe. We'd rather take a smaller, guaranteed win. But, and this is the wild part, when we're facing a loss, we suddenly become gamblers. We'll take a huge, risky bet to try and avoid losing anything at all, rather than just accept a smaller, definite loss.
This explains why people hold on to losing stocks for way too long, just hoping they'll bounce back.
So, if our brains are riddled with these automatic biases, what can we possibly do about it? Well, we can't just turn off System 1, but we can learn to recognize the situations where it's likely to lead us astray and then deliberately wake up our lazy but powerful System 2.
And here is an incredibly powerful technique to do just that. It's called a pre-mortem. Before you make a big decision, imagine you're a year in the future and the plan has been a total spectacular disaster. Now take a few minutes and write down the story of exactly why it failed.
What's so brilliant about this is that it completely bypasses our brain's natural optimism. It gives our analytical system 2 permission, it makes it safe to be critical and to find all the potential flaws before they actually happen. It's a process that forces that slow, effortful thinking right when you need it the most.
All of which leaves us with one last big question. If your intuition, your System 1, can be so easily fooled, when should you actually trust it? Understanding these two systems running the show in your head, well, that's the key to making better choices, both fast and slow.